Here's today's keys to the case in the Julie Schenecker murder trial. It's all about the blame game. Key number 1. Was her husband to blame? He was on the stand today. He was out serving his country overseas. Was he not around to support her? Key number 2. Was it the doctors to blame? Did they not monitor her meds? Did she not go to the doctor enough? Key number 3, are her friends and relatives possibly to blame because they weren't there as a support system for her? And key number 4, you got to go to our Facebook page, like us, and I'll give it to you there.
All right, let's take you back inside the courtroom because really a huge development today. And we've heard about Julie Schenecker and alcohol and some of the other things she was involved in. Something else came up today that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Take a listen.
She had a period of greater than a year of gambling away substantial monies at Hard Rock Casino, unbeknownst to her husband. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
At one point, according to what's documented in the medical records, she was going twice a month and spending over $1,000 a month, correct?
I recall that, and I believe that's correct.
And she reported, as far as her gambling in 2009, that she even dipped into some type of retirement fund and withdrew $1,700 and went through that. Isn't that correct?
I think she said she expected she'd probably end up using it for gambling.
And in the following note to not the psychiatrist, but the psychotherapist, a licensed mental health worker, she ultimately acknowledged that she had gone through the money. Do you
Yes.
recall?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, her gambling was so bad that she and Parker, her husband at the time, had to borrow $10,000 by her own admission to the doctors to make the monthly bills of the family. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Gambling addiction. Let's bring back in the Dream Team and Dr. Erik Fisher, psychologist. Eric, let me ask you about, should we be surprised that she has an issue with gambling as well?
Well, one of the features of mania when somebody's in manic phase is often delusions of grandeur, and they often will go out and spend large amounts of money. They think that they have the key to winning the lottery or winning at the tables and things like that. So it's not uncommon that you'll see really wild spending patterns when people are in manic phases.
Darren, how does this play with the jury now? Does this help her or hurt her?
Well, ultimately, I don't see there being any correlation between addiction and really extreme forms of criminality. And I say this as somebody who is a certified intervention professional. I say this as somebody who unsuccessfully battled with my own demons for a couple of decades and then successfully for decades since. So I do have some firsthand experience with those kinds of issues. And also in my experience, I think it comes down to foreseeability. Like we were talking about her husband, the colonel who is deployed, and whether he has some element of culpability in all this. And while I think it may be foreseeable that somebody who's dealing with bipolar disorder may have periods where they are depressed and the energy is low, or may have periods of mania where they're acting out in other ways, none of that makes it foreseeable that somebody is going to cross over the line and take the lives of their own kids. So I don't think he's got any blameworthiness, and I don't think addiction's going to get that jury very far on the defense side of things.
All right, we're going to keep continuing to cover this trial, and it is compelling because remember these images when the case first happened, and now she's in court claiming legal insanity. Tough decision for this jury.